Welcome everyone to our webinar today on driving parent engagement within Compass. So we've run this special webinar for the group today just to give a bit of guidance around essentially tips and tricks and share some insights into how you can drive stronger parent engagement within Compass. Now with me today, I'm your host, Jeremy Johnson, and with me is Kate Dalton, our National Training Manager. Kate, if you wanted to jump in.
Hey everyone.
Excellent, excellent. Well, let's jump into things today. So I'm going to move across to our next slide. We're just going to talk a little bit about just some housekeeping first off before we go into things. Now, first things first, your microphones and cameras are turned off, so we cannot see you or hear you. So feel free to talk amongst yourselves. You're not going to impact the webinar here today. Just a bit of housekeeping on how to use GoToWebinar. So you'll notice that you can't unmute your mic over in the right-hand side. If you do need to ask a question, you've got that little question mark icon where you can ask a question there as well. And then also down the bottom right-hand side, you've got the maximize screen if you wanted to get a little bit more real estate on the webinar that we're going to be running through today as well. And now the last thing, if you do have any questions, please save them for the end. It's only Kate and I in the webinar today. If there's a significant amount of questions, we'll do our best to get through them towards the end of the session. If we're not able to address them at the end, we will send a follow-up email to you with an answer to your queries as well. Also, the very last thing there as well, we are recording this session today, so if you do have any other team members that weren't able to join, you will get a copy of this recording that you can share with them down the track as well. All right, so we're going to move on to the agenda. Now, we're really going to be covering off on 4 key points in the session today. So we're going to be taking a look at parent engagement and why it matters. We're then going to look at how Compass can help. And then the third thing, we're going to be looking at how to get parents up and running. And then we'll drive it home with tips for driving parent engagement as well. So we'll share some real life stories and some examples that some other schools have used to help drive parents into the app. Okay, so what is parent engagement? Well, parent engagement, I'm preaching to the converted here, but parent engagement is essentially engaging parents in and involving parents in the school community to help drive a supportive environment and learning environment at home. Now, really, we would break it down into 2 sections. We would say there are, for parents, it's engaging with the school community and then also supporting learning within the household. Now, for a school, obviously, you should be looking for ways that you can help partner with parents and also helping build parents' capacity for effective parent engagement. So looking at ways that you can make it easy for them to get engaged in with the school community as well. Moving across to the next slide now, why does parent engagement matter? There's a significant amount of studies and research out now that shows that stronger parent engagement leads to stronger academic results, improved behavior within the school, better self-esteem among students, more self-discipline, higher aspiration towards school, and then lastly, a better transition to higher education, less likely for dropout as well. So key points around why parent engagement matters within the school and how you should look to drive stronger parent engagement. Now, as a whole, we've got this little graph here just to help understand how Compass can help with driving stronger parent engagement. Now, if we look historically at the problem that schools have faced is each of the little tasks within the school that you would undertake with parents is quite disconnected and separate to each other. So the method for, say, delivering a newsletter in the past, or canteen management, or parent-student teacher conferences, they're all separate communication methods and separate processes for parents to undertake to essentially engage with the school. Now, what we see the difference with Compass is that we are that all-in-one solution. So what you're looking at is parents and school, and at the heart of it is Compass supporting all aspects of school management, be that newsletter, homework, through learning tasks, canteen, whatever it may be. So the power there is that all-in-one central platform that makes it easy and simple for parents to access anything relating to the school. Now, just looking at some of the key functionality within the parent portal here, I've just highlighted some of the features that we have there. that your school may be using or could look to utilize in the future. We've got obviously the newsfeed functionality there, which a significant number of our clients are utilizing. The ability to push out news feeds and alerts to separate cohorts of students or parents directly through the application. You've got the calendar functionality for parents to view any up and coming events or their classes for their student. You've got a direct communication method there for parents to email and communicate directly with the teaching staff members. Obviously, our attendance notes functionality. You've got academic information, be that semester reports or progress reports, learning tasks for homework and assignment management, school resources that parents can then jump in to help assist with learning tasks. We've got events consent and payment, school fee payment if you wanted to use that functionality as well, parent-student conferences. And the last one there is school photography. For those of you that may not be aware, we've actually partnered with MSP Photography. We've got an integration there now where parents can actually purchase school photos directly through the app as well, which is quite powerful. Now, what you'll notice is the philosophy behind the features that we've built within the parent portal have really stemmed from us doing our best to understand what that school journey looks like. So we're trying to center it around the tasks that are created and executed daily with parents, weekly, monthly, and it kind of follows this journey that we're looking at here. So we've really tried to incorporate the way that the app is used with the everyday schooling with students and parents as well. Okay, so just a couple of little tips on how to get parents up and running, and I thought I might highlight a new method that we developed towards the start of remote learning in 2020. So the first method to get parents up and running within Compass was via the parent letters. So you may be familiar with that. That's a letter that you can print out or send as a PDF. It's a customizable letter, so you can actually customize and change that letter within Chronicle as you're creating letters to invite parents in. We're seeing a large number of schools obviously include that in their enrollment packs as well, so you might print that out and include it in your physical enrollment packs that you're handing out to parents also. Now, the newest method that we've got here is direct email. So if you have the email address of parents stored within Compass, you can actually bulk send out invitations across to parents. Just one thing to be aware of, I'm going to actually show you that functionality in a second now, but it's not a customizable letter. You can't change the look and the feel of that letter as well. And also there is a level of dependency that you will have to make sure that your database is up to date and that you have the relevant email addresses on file also. So I'll just switch across to the portal now just to show you where you can access that functionality. So if you jump across into organization and then down into people management, underneath the people management heading, you've got actions, and this may look a little bit different to your account. We've got send parent login emails here as well. So you'll notice that when I click on here, you can see that we've got 3 options to select what parent groups we want to send to. We can highlight the parents we want to send it to, we can send it to all active parents, or we can send it to active parents who have never logged into Compass, which is probably going to be the one that you would use. And you can see here, this is an overview of the letter. This would obviously include your school's branding in here as well. And this is where it would insert the parent's username and password. One of the things that you'll notice about this invitation email, we have also included some guides to help parents get familiar with the application. So if I click on this available here, this is a parent guide, and I'm going to be talking about that in a second. And then also down the bottom of the email that would have been sent across to the parents, we've got quick links to download the mobile application as well, which is where we see a significant amount of parent engagement is actually via the mobile app over desktop as well. Okay, so let's switch back. There's just really those 2 methods there. Kate, was there anything you'd like to add before we move on?
Yeah, no, that pretty much covers it. It's just a significant tip to just ensure that if you are using the email option or even the letter option with the addresses, just make sure that you do a bit of a sweep through your database. Just make sure that you do have all the correct details on file for the parents, just so we make sure that the login details go to the right people.
Excellent, very good. Okay, so let's move across to the next slide now. Now, what I've done here is I've built out a slide just around 4 simple tips that you can deploy within your school. And we're going to be looking at some examples in some coming slides on around these 4 tips. Now, the first things first is reviewing your school's processes. I know this is a lot harder than just a sweeping comment. Implementing change within a school is hard. We all know that. Now, what we would say is start small. So always focus on implementing the small features within Compass with parents. Okay, so it's a change management process for your staff, and it's also a change management process for the parents as well. So start using the small functions within Compass, and what you'll notice is as you start to use some of those small functions, be that prompting parents to add in their attendance notes via the app, you'll notice that you start to train the parents to go into the app more and more. And then you'll start to notice that they start to engage with some of the bigger ticket items, such as making sure assignments are due on time and whatnot as well. The second part there is the cross-function use. So what that means is essentially make sure that everyone within the school is using the functionalities of the parent app. So don't just leave it to your teaching staff to implement teaching related features. Make sure your admin staff or your finance staff are using the functions that would help them connect with parents as well. Next is making it easy. So what that means is if you haven't already done so, on your school's website, include a link to your school's custom login page. And I'm going to show you an example of that just now. So you'll notice that I'm just going across to Carolyn Chisholm, and you'll notice that on their homepage, they've got the Compass icon here. It's maybe a little bit of an outdated icon, but it brings parents directly to their school's login page. Now, why I'd say you want to put that on your school's website is obviously when the parents of your school are thinking of Compass, they're not thinking of Compass as a company. That they shouldn't be prompted to go to the Compass website to log into the account. They should be going to your school's website and then being directed to your custom login as well. So it's just something to be aware of. It's a nice little tip. The next one there is active Compass promotion. So what that means is in the slide that I'm about to show you, you'll notice that a school is actively using their Facebook page to promote Compass and make sure parents are engaged with the Compass application. So little tips like that, adding it into your newsletter, adding it into social media if your school has a social media account, and prompting parents to use the app where you can. Parent information. So another thing, this is all quite new to parents. Obviously, an application like ours is on the frontier of school management software. They wouldn't have had software like this back when they were actually in school. So we always recommend including a little bit of information on your school's website about what Compass is and how it's going to be used within the school. Again, fantastic overview page here for Carolyn Chisholm. You can see there that there's an overview section, and they're talking about how to log into Compass, and a nice overview page there just explaining. The next step is the parent booklet. So we do have a printable booklet that you can print out and have on file and include in your enrollment packages, or even include on your front desk just to hand out to parents as well. And then the last one is reminders. So the other one here is work with staff and train them to really promote Compass to parents, right? So if a parent comes into the school to execute on a task that could have been completed via Compass, training your admin staff on the front desk to say, you can actually complete this via Compass. You don't have to come into the school if you don't want to as well. Those little prompts can really help parents get engaged as well. And the last one here, update your phone recordings. So what we've noticed, especially here at the Compass team, when we try and reach out to schools, they've got a little recording on their phone system that when a parent calls up or anyone calls up, there's a little note that says, if you'd like to add an attendance note, log into Compass, instead of prompting to call the front desk every time to add an attendance note as well. So just those little reminders can really help. So a couple of these examples here, you can see St. Nicholas Primary School, they've added the Compass overview video, which we'll come to in a second, onto their Facebook page. Trinity, you can again see, similar to Carolyn Chisholm, you can see there that they've added some overview information, they've included some links, and they've got a link directly to their school's custom login page there as well. We really recommend everyone add that onto your school's website to make it easy as well. Now, the next thing I just really wanted to touch on quite quickly, I briefly touched on it, is the parent guide. So the parent guide is, there's two versions of it. There is a digital version, which we're going to open up in a second, and then there is a printable version. The digital version, you'll notice here, if I switch across to this tab, you just need to prompt parents to go to compass.education/guide. Again, you can copy and paste this link and put it as a hyperlink on your school's website. And this is a nice overview page which explains the full functionalities of the parent portal, which we've got a nice video there that they can watch as well, and how it's used within the school. So it's a bit of a help desk kind of overview informational page as well. And then the next one here is a printed guide. Here's just a couple of snapshots from this printed guide. We highly recommend having the printed guide on file, having it on your reception desk. As parents come in, again, it might be something that you hand out to them just to help prompt them to start using the app more as well. And Kate will actually distribute a little flyer that we've got as well. It's a micro parent guide that you may choose to use as well, which just prompts them to download the app. All right, so what we're going to do now, Kate, was there anything else before that any tips and tricks that you wanted to jump in on and share with the group today?
Yeah, look, there is a couple of very common tips we've picked up through working with a lot of schools to roll out the portal to parents. There's a couple of sort of strategies that a lot of schools have used that have been really effective in encouraging parents to sort of take that first big step, especially if it's your first time rolling out the portal to parents, that have really helped them actually take that step to log in and start using it. One of the main tips that we always recommend is to give the parents a reason to log in. And Jeremy touched on this previously before. Make sure you've got sort of some tasks for them to complete. Sometimes schools will sort of roll out the portal and encourage parents to log on and navigate around in their own time to get used to it, which is great as well. And you'll probably have quite a few parents that'll be happy to do that. But something that really sort of pushes the majority of your parent cohort to log in is if you have a reason and a task for them to complete. So a good timing for parent rollout for anyone who hasn't done it yet or is trying to get a larger cohort on is to time it with a task such as booking parent-teacher interviews or paying or consenting for an event or your school fees, or sort of completing or reading a report or something like that. So if you time it, especially at this time of the year, usually we'll see schools roll it out with sort of their first round of parent-teacher conferences, advising that those actions are available through Compass and only through Compass. They need to log into Compass to complete that action. So you can actually see quite a spike in the number of parents logging in to complete that. So if you can time that quite nicely, then that can always work. Another thing in terms of sort of preparing yourselves internally as staff to support the parents when they do first log in is utilizing our Impersonate function. Jeremy, you can probably quickly demo this if you've got a portal open, but we have a functionality for staff members to be able to impersonate a parent account. Now, there is a specific permission you need to be applied to your Compass account, so you can actually sort of choose which staff members in the school have this functionality. It's just called the Impersonate permission. When you go to the cog icon, there will be a button that says Impersonate, as Jeremy just did, and you can actually log in as any parent. It can really help, especially for any staff members that will be quite heavily involved in supporting parents, so your front office staff, as well as anyone that hasn't really seen the parent portal before and would like to familiarise themselves. Use this Impersonate function, have a look at what the parents will see, and sort of have a bit of a navigate around and familiarise yourselves. It can really help you in supporting the parents when you do sort of first get them logging in. There's probably going to be some questions and inquiries from some parents, and if everyone knows how the parent portal works and they can actually see it from their side, it can be a lot quicker and easier for you guys to support the parents and sort of help them using the system. Here's an example of what the parents will see from their side with parent-teacher conferences. You'll see that the first time the parents log in, they actually get a lovely little tutorial that takes them through how to use it. So a lot of the functionality is intuitive. Sometimes they just need that extra bit of support, sort of using it for the first few times. So if you guys are able to see from their side and guide them through there, you can see a lot more success of take up. So we definitely recommend that one as well. Now, please feel free to send through your questions if you do have any of them. You just got the question pane on the right-hand side. We do actually have one question that was sent through earlier from Anne Thompson. Thank you, Anne, from Marcellin College. She was just asking about one of our newest features that we released late last year to assist you as administration staff in managing some of the parent actions in Compass. So we put in an update that allows basically an alert to come through to you guys for parents who put in a note, an attendance note, so an absence approval over a certain amount of time. So you can say any parents that put in an absence approval or request over 10 days will be redirected to an approval form to fill it out before it actually goes into the system. Anne was asking whether that's available to be set up as an alert for a certain type of attendance code rather than a time frame. At the moment, unfortunately, it is just a time frame. So it sort of works on that length rather than the code type. But thank you for sending that through, Anne. Is there any other questions that anyone would like to send through? Feel free to pop them in the question pane.
Yep. All right, so we've got a couple of questions that have come through now. Okay, so one of the questions there was, your help guide mentions being able to see the calendar via the app. So can we explain this? So Kate, did you want to jump in and explain a little bit about the calendar functionality for parents via the app?
Yeah, so in the app, a lot of it is sort of student-based. So the parent will be able to log in, they'll see sort of a profile for each of their students, and they'll be able to click on their profile and then see each of their schedules individually. At the moment, the larger calendar that Jeremy's looking at the moment is just available through the web page currently. We do absolutely have plans to update that to sort of the app and integrate that in. At the moment, a lot of the app functionality is centered around the student calendars and the student schedules. So the parent will be able to see the individual calendar and schedule for each of their students, and then extra things like their attendance status that's been marked on roles as well.
Excellent, that's good. It's probably something that we should speak a little bit to as well, because it's just on the horizon here. But one of the things that you'll notice over kind of the coming weeks to month, we are actually making some significant changes to the user experience for parents. So you'll notice that the newsfeed functionality is going to be updated and changed a little bit. The user experience will look a little nicer, a little bit newer as well, which is quite good. And we also, and the last point there, we will also be changing the look and feel of the login page that you currently see within Compass as well. So this login page is going to be changed a little bit. One thing to be aware of, you can actually customize the background page. Just speak with our Compass team today. That is an offering. We can actually upload your own image and change it to a custom background if you'd like that as well. All right. Any other questions before we sign off for today? It was a nice quick 30-minute webinar there. Doesn't look like we've got anything here. All right, well, let's leave it at that for today. So as we may mention, there's just a really brief webinar session. I will be sending through a copy of the recording today. If you would like a follow-up meeting, one-on-one meeting with any of our team, feel free to reach out to me directly. I can help coordinate a session on this as well. Just got one that came through. Can I find out more about the 10-day notification? Kate, did you want to jump in for that one?
Yeah, definitely. So there's a new setting in the attendance administration module. When you do open the attendance module, there's a settings button on the right. Yeah, and here you can actually set a date threshold. So you'll be able to set, there we go, flag for review length in days. So you'll actually be able to set a number here. So it's up to you how many days worth of a note you'd like it to flag for. At that point, you'll actually get an extra, when you put a number above 0 in there, you will actually get an extra area where you'll be able to, might have to go into a New South Wales portal, Jeremy, but you'll be able to actually put in a link to where you would like the parents directed to after that. So at that certain length in days, you'll put in a link. So you will need to make sure that your form, however you want to receive it, is online. Whenever a parent puts in a note that amount or over, they're redirected to that link. Once they go to the link and pop in the approval, it'll then come through to you through whatever format you choose. Once it's approved, you'll then be able to add in the note from your side. So it's basically automating that approval process so that you can make sure that anything that's over a certain amount of days does go through the right processes and get sent to the right people and approved by the right people before it's actually popped into Compass. And it means that parents can still put all of the required information in digitally, and they don't have to sort of come to you and fill out extra forms. It sort of streamlines all of that through Compass and online.
Excellent, thank you very much. There was one last question there as well. Will this webinar be uploaded anywhere? So we will send through a link to a copy of this recording, but one of the other things I should just speak to really quickly, within the knowledge base, if you type in webinar, there is a webinar library. We will upload a copy of this webinar in here. And you'll notice here there is a bunch of webinars to cover kind of all aspects of Compass. So you'll notice that this webinar that we ran through today will be uploaded very shortly as well. So excellent. Well, thank you all for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the session. And as always, if you do have any questions, please reach out to our team. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.